That's why you said
We'll
ambulance.
have police, fire, and ambulance. This meeting and all meetings of this committee are open to public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the press in accordance with Wisconsin statutes. So the citizenry may be aware of the time, place, and the agenda of this meeting. Roll call.
Kemp,
Here.
Gunderson,
Here.
Brunner.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here. Need a motion then to approve the minutes from our September 8th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any questions, comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Citizens' appearance, we have none at this time. Department update. Chief?
You, Mike, you don't have in front of you the calls for service, but there's nothing that was,
You got it up there?
I will in a second. There it is.
it's significantly lower than the prior month, and that's in.
Would you guys go on vacation or what?
No, we didn't go on vacation, but school started, and that keeps some of the riffraff off the roads at night. The only thing that's not on here is we did refer a high school student for multiple felonies for an issue at the school. He was subsequently expelled. Mileage is average and about normal. Second thing we have, does anybody have any questions on the tickets or the referrals?
No.
I gotta be about back to the top. Squad car bid, what you see on page 4 has been updated literally when we walked in the door here tonight. Brandon was getting the rest of the story. And because he and I didn't have a chance to discuss it at length, I will let him tell you what you're looking at there. I mean, I pretty much understand it, but
Well, we're looking at, and like I said, or Chief said that I worked on this right till 4 o'clock tonight, 5 o'clock. For the last 2-3 weeks, we've been working on this. We're proposing to replace the current 2008 Dodge Charger with a 2016 Dodge Charger. I kinda laid out what the new car's gonna cost and what the previous car cost to outfit 8 years ago, so you can kinda compare. Not a dramatic cost increase, but I think the numbers are within range. If you look at the second and then subsequent pages, this bid here isn't set in stone. We would prefer General Communications to do the work for us. They set up the previous car and did a very good job. They're willing to come get the car for us, so we don't have to have costs of transporting it down there. The only time we'd have to send an officer down to Milwaukee to where General Communications is located is the day we pick it up and for them to finish any of the internal programming with the emergency light package. On the second to last page of this bid started out at a little over 15,000. As of today at noon, I'm down to 10,200. And we still have a little bit more work to do yet on the cage, which I expect is gonna bring it down a little bit more yet. But when you look at what it cost to outfit the current car in 2008, we were, with the radio costs and everything, we were around 11,000, a little over 11,000. So our numbers are coming in real close. I just made a side note on my own sheet that the Ford Explorer that we outfitted, that General Communications did for us. Granted, we ordered that squad with some factory emergency lighting in it, which we'll likely never do again because we've having issues with them. And now we have to find somebody who's going to service that because it came through Ford. General Communications quote, and after we tried saving the light bar and having to put a new light bar on, their quote was about 10,600 to do the Ford Expedition that we got, our most recent new car. So the numbers are falling in line with the emergency lighting package and siren. The only, and I'll bring it forward, the only concern I have is the very last page. I'm asking for your permission to upgrade the radio. Currently in the 3 squads we have, that radio is now obsolete and no longer being made. So our oldest, and I think the one in the Dodge is the oldest radio. So I can take it out and put it into a new car, but I tried doing that with the Ford Expedition with the light bar. I took the light bar off and put it on the Ford Expedition, and a year later it went bad, and we ended up spending $2,200 to have a brand new light bar put on. So I would, if we can afford it, I would propose just upgrading everything at one time. And I guess I'll leave it up to you guys for any questions.
So then you're gonna sell the old Charger, the current Charger?
Well, it's up to you. We'll sell it, or
I have thoughts and ideas, but I guess I'm not prepared to, I haven't really had time to talk to the chief. If you guys want us to sell it, we certainly can. But I guess I'd respectfully like to talk to the chief and then bring forward potential options for it, given we have 4 months before we outfit this car anyways. But if you wanna,
No, I'm just curious because right now you have 3 cars. We kept the Charger
we did.
and it was supposed to just be a backup. And we've used it on rotation.
Well, and
So I'm just, are we staying with 3? Are we going, what's your plans or thoughts on it? That's all.
staying with 3 back when Donna was here was to extend the life of the car. By using the Charger, the Expedition still has very low miles. And that was the intent of that was to keep the other squad with low miles. It's got 60,000 on it, and we run them to 120. So thought process of keeping the three cars is to extend the life on them.
Right.
Now, I don't know what his thoughts are, so I can bring that back next month, is what he's got in mind for the Charger, but
well, just off the cuff, I mean, we kept that third car and we've been successful prolonging the squad rotation by a year.
Right.
Now, I know, do we need 4 cars running around? Probably not. Is it very convenient when it comes down to training, maintenance, and what have you? It is. The fact that this car, none of the equipment, because it's an 08, with the exception of the radio, which is old, can transfer in a new car. That's where I'd like to crunch some numbers to see, are we gonna get a decent value for it? Or does the value to us mean more to keep it as is until it just dies? I want to ask the chief to put any more money into it, with the exception of brakes and oil for the
Right.
general maintenance.
We still have to insure it and stuff. It's just something, because I look at it and I look at that SUV you have, not yours, but that other little piece of shit. And I mean, I'm sorry, it's newer, but it looks like garbage. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, I'd be looking at keeping the Charger and getting rid of that thing because
Right.
it's just been an expensive eyesore. I'm not
And-
thrilled that you're not looking at buying another one.
Right, I have thoughts on that too, but that's for,
for a different time.
It looks in everything, cause it's set up for a rear end crashes, that the Charger sure does it. I mean, you will not get injured with a rear end if you're sitting on the side of the road, correct? Isn't that part of the package on that Interceptor?
yeah, I mean, depending.
It's set up differently than, it's not just another,
It's an SUV versus a sedan.
Mm-hmm.
but I remember going through this, that it was set up for rear end crash
Right.
safety,
Right.
which is.
Yeah,
a big
it may
thing.
be, but it's been a very expensive squad car. That, the SUV has been it's been a very expensive
For as
thing to
new as it is,
maintain.
we've invested, luckily we have warranty on it, but we've invested a lot of maintenance hours into it currently.
That was gonna be my question, is because when we first got that thing, I think you guys were ready to take it and drive it off the end of the bridge. That's why I'm wondering why we're going back to another Dodge.
No, this is, we're talking about the Ford utility.
The Dodge has been good.
But
That
no,
Charger-
not when they first got it, that Dodge Charger was,
Had some headaches.
they had
Yeah, I
problems,
remember
they
it
wanted to
was-
get
there
rid of
was-
that thing, it was bad, and now
Remember, it was
we're
called a
turning
piece of
around and
junk.
we're going back to Dodge, I guess, is there that big of a difference?
There was one component in the Dodge that I can remember that we had grief with, which was a factory installed, it ran the factory installed lights, the Weyauwega, the headlights, and attached to that was some other major component, and we went through 2 of those boxes. I think they're like $150 a piece. We were getting them through a junkyard and we kept, but knock on wood, it's been good for the last 3-4 years. And with the Dodge, we've never done any type of major engine work to it, with the exception of a water pump and a thermostat here and there. No transmission work at all, no rear end work at all. We've replaced the fuel pumps, but
That's normal.
the car's
Yeah.
got almost 140,000 on it, and it's
Right.
probably got how many hours of idle time, which is to be
Right.
expected.
Right.
So overall, and it's been crashed 3 times, and it's still, I mean, we're not proud of it, but,
No, let's hit 2 deer and it's,
yeah.
No, I'm a fan of the Dodge Charger.
I guess that's what we're proposing, is to replace it with another as is.
yeah, this is just the number, it should be close on the price of the car.
The car is state bid, that's the lowest, and that is through Colosso and Appleton.
Okay.
Their fleet manager, and the state bid is good through August 14th of 2016. So,
There's some dirty words up here that I don't like.
what do you see?
Tell me that that's not gonna stay.
It's proposed as is,
The proposal is what,
to replace the car as it currently sits.
that will be a marked squad?
I'll direct that to the chief.
We'd prefer to keep it unmarked.
No.
We went through all that before and we know why, and if you kept the black Charger, that could, is that one of your thoughts, keep that unmarked for the special purposes?
No, I mean, if you wanted to put some minimal decaling on there, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but
This was all about incognito with all the drug stuff going on, was why it was
Currently-
unmarked.
currently
That's
with the way
got
that,
purpose.
But
currently with the way that Dodge works now, it's more of an administrative / patrol vehicle, more on the administrative side, and it works better to keep it unmarked. But that's the chief's and whoever's decision.
You'll wisely step aside, huh?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't go with this unless it was a marked squad. Because like I said before, that's one of the biggest concerns with people in town. And you can look at it either way. You can say, yes, unmarked, it's good for helping you with the drugs and whatever case. But once people realize that that is the unmarked squad, they get so used to it that it is the unmarked squad. But you get the people that are actually paying for that squad that tell you that there's no reason that that squad car can't be marked.
Okay.
And I said, yep, you're right. And we've had that discussion in the last 2 years. And I personally would like to see it.
I've also had numerous people come up and say what a beautiful car that is, and compliment on it too. So I mean, it can go both ways.
It came, that Dodge Charger looked a lot better when it was marked. If you look at some of your pictures that you guys got out there, and I still to this day don't know why an interim chief would get it to be unmarked.
The stuff was peeling off from what I remember, and it was, if you wanna say unsightly.
It was
The
in rough
stickers were
shape.
peeling off, it wasn't,
But it was never brought to the council's attention, because I don't ever remember that.
I remember that.
Coming to us.
Yeah, I remember that about the decals, that was given the reason.
Well-
Maybe it was after the fact when we asked why. But I remember that was explanation of why,
And
whether
then
it was.
my other question was, did you check into the propane vehicle, seeing you came up there and looked at that?
I did.
Does this have the option out there for, I mean, do they have the,
I guess I didn't look to
Specs?
see if Dodge has a,
yeah,
but I did talk to Weyauwega as of 3 weeks ago, one of their full-time officers. And I just said, hey, we're looking at possibly getting a new car. How is the propane one working out? And he reluctantly declined to answer and said you should probably talk to the chief. So I didn't go any further with it.
Okay. Cause he hasn't said nothing that I'm.
So I
aware
don't
of.
know if that's,
What that means,
And they're still coming and filling it up every other day,
Right.
every day, or whatever.
I'll see him in a week. I'll ask him what his opinion, is it an option for this?
We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know if
Alright.
if Dodge has that.
Well, to stay on task, I don't think we need any action on this. This is just to
Yeah,
get
there's-
ready to get ready.
There's two things, so it's part of the next year's budget, so you'd buy it in 2016, and then just to add on what Brandon said, in the CIP, your plan in the past was every odd year, you would buy a new vehicle, and so just to point out that technically a year ago, we were due to buy a new vehicle, and the police department had extended out, they delayed that to 3 years now. But the amount of money that we had kind of designated in there was roughly $45,000 to $50,000. If you buy a SUV, it might be a little bit more. If it's a car, it might be a little bit less. But that's something that should be noted too. I think we talked about it, but they did get an extra year out of the vehicles they have, so that's a good thing too.
That's good.
when did the Interceptor, when was that bought, was that?
That was right in 2013, right when I
13.
think the first month
So
I
it
was
did
here is
come
when
on
we got
the
it
odd,
delivered.
and then whatever, 15 go.
Yep, so it'd be 3 years then in between vehicle purchases, which is for police cars that are on the road and running all the time. That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, if I could say something, these guys know what they need. They do it in a very professional way. These bids are something that, other than them two guys, none of us can argue really. What do we know about it? I went through that with fire department ordering trucks. Pretty much all Greek to the average man. I think he's done his homework here, he's got the solid bid, he's under our,
The amount we've
proposed
designated
amount.
for it. Yep.
And Mike, I'm not gonna disagree or agree with you, but if it comes to being marked or unmarked, in my opinion, it's totally up to them guys. It's their job, they gotta run it. If it helps them in any way, do whatever they feel is best.
So there's no need for any action on that.
No, we can probably run it with the budget next
Okay.
month then, if that's okay,
Yep.
in November.
Okay.
Let me unbiasedly just ask again on the question of marked or unmarked. I understand the Charger thing, because we talked about that. It's not that you don't dislike marked cars, do you? Because we have one.
right.
But what again is the reason? Do you think if we get this new one, can you pinpoint the reasons for not having it marked?
Well, we're working closer in our drug investigations. The car is out and about, and when we're working closer with other agencies, and you guys can all attest to it, that you get a call, why is the Weyauwega car in New London, why is the Weyauwega car over here?
Yeah.
And, we're out doing our job. There isn't any time that car is not, or it shouldn't be, without, we're called out on the radio.
So it's really the drug thing more than, because everybody that's, everybody that has any intelligence knows that you go to other cities to connect dots, so the people that say that, they're,
Well,
Don't even
you'd be
listen to them.
surprised.
huh?
You'd be surprised how many people call.
Oh, right, I know, but who cares about that, because everybody that knows anything knows that you gotta go to a packer for things to do,
Right.
But I know, I hear you, they're still like taking your time up for nothing,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
I
so
hear
the
that all the
reason
time.
is,
How come that car drove down Slough Road? How come he drove down towards the land? You never hear that about this unmarked squad.
Well, I get calls all the time on the marked one.
Yeah,
Because the night shift sheriff's department guys have
they
several
got same
black ones.
cars. Yeah, yeah,
And they'll call in and say, oh, what's the squad doing out,
yeah. I
south
hear
of Chimney
that.
Inn?
I hear that too. I said, the county's got the same squads, And actually, unless you get a good look at it, lettering looks the same.
Yeah.
because there's a black unmarked Charger that went by my job that I asked, did you come by my job? No, why would I be? It's same, I thought it was
Yeah.
Brandon. So,
All right.
All right, well, moving on. C, Narcan. Patrick and I met with Theta Care on Friday morning for a couple different reasons. One of the reasons was I had asked for the meeting was to see if they would be willing to work with us on giving us a medical director and a prescription for Narcan, which is the drug that reverses overdoses, opiate overdoses. And much to our pleasure, she said not only would they be willing to find us a medical director, they would also give us the Narcan and the needles and all the stuff we need to go with it. The nurse at the school has agreed to train us. I was going to try and bring a policy, but I didn't find out until late yesterday of what kind of Narcan we're going to be getting and how to do it. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll be writing a policy. Next meeting, I'll be looking to have that approved, and then we'll take it to the council meeting. So, love it or leave it. It's a good thing for us. We show up in an overdose. If the ambulance is 20 minutes away, somebody's going to die. In this case, officer can administer a dose of Narcan and hopefully have a positive outcome. That's it.
Yeah. Huh? You're up.
Where are we now?
You're at
Any
5.
any other such matters? Before Pat speaks, okay, then
There you go.
we'll ask for closed session. Consideration of employment, promotion, compensation, performance, evaluation of city employees are subject to the jurisdiction of authority of the council. The reason for the closed session is to review wages for 2016 budget. The committee may choose to reconvene in open session in order to take action on these items from the closed session. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
I just say got it.
Roll call.
Just click on it.
Kemp,
Aye.
Gunderson,
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
7:41. We back in open session though?
Yep. And we are going to be going over the draft of the budget. So you have 5 minutes.
Yep, two things I can give you on the fire district and the ambulance. And very good news is with the fire district, our share, which is roughly 55,000, is going down $700 for next year. So that's very good. And then for the ambulance, Gold Cross is proposing that we stay the same, roughly 23,000 for ambulance service. They are speaking with Hortonville and Dale, and they're trying to get them to start paying for the service because right now they don't. They just get a free ambulance service from Gold Cross.
Wow.
They've contacted me, I've talked to Hortonville, I've talked to Dale. They've wanted me to go to meetings, and I've said no. I've talked to them. And Hortonville's called and wanted to know how we finance it and how we pay for it. But anyway, what Gold Cross is telling us is that we could probably pick up another 5,000 in savings if those two start paying. So our rate would go from $12.50 per person of population down to about $10. That would be great. It's better than going the other way. But for now, those two are going to stay the same. Those are the other pieces of the police, fire, and ambulance budget. As we're looking at the police budget, I'll take a little bit of the thunder from the chief. This is a draft, and we have talked about the health insurance. We were looking at roughly a 20% increase. And just yesterday, we did get the final figures, or at least the proposal from Anthem. And it looks like with some minor modifications to the cost sharing between employees in the city, there's a possibility that our costs could be minimally increased or at least stay the same. So with that, there's probably $6,000 in this draft budget that can be reassigned elsewhere in the police department. But in general, what we're looking at is a 2.11% increase from $377,000 in total to $384,991. And on that, pretty much
That's it.
took up your 5 minutes.
That's fine. We can,
So again, this is an FYI. We did go through Finance, Public Works, Rec. In October, the council approves a budget summary that gets posted in the paper, and then in November is when we take up the regular budget.
so this gets approved at council on Monday?
In
The whole budget,
theory,
the whole budget.
what we're looking at is the size of the pie And these draft budgets are, how do we
That's a
carve up
piece-
that?
That's a piece of
Okay.
the pie.
But that happens
budget.
Monday.
Right, so what we're gonna set, and I think it's at, in general, this last year, we had $1.77 million in the general levy, or the general, not levy, the general budget. We're looking at cutting that $13,000, just because state aids have come down, some of our revenues have come down. The total pie is 1.759 million. It's a cut of 0.7%. So anywhere we're able to save money helps us out. Anywhere that the money costs go up because our total pie is going smaller, that means we have to cut something else. In general, I think we're doing pretty good though. And from before, we talked about the police car for next year. That's the only other capital item, I think, for the police department at this point, other than regular equipment that gets replaced. Okay?
All right. Anything else? Then we would ask for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 8:22.